Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back once again to Rogues Gallery Live. Hey guys, welcome back once again to Rogues Gallery Live. My name is Chris, the Batman Statue Collector. If this is your first time viewing, we're really glad to have you here. We've got a great show tonight. This is Rogues Gallery number 112, and we've got an amazing panel and a new member tonight, which is exciting. So I'll introduce her first. This is, of course, Julie. You've seen her in the chat. She's one of the biggest poison ivy collectors that I know. You can see a few back there. Welcome to the show. We're really glad to have you on the show.
Thank you for having me. I'm glad to be here.
Well, thank you very much for taking time to, hang out with us tonight, talking about statues and everything fun in the collecting world. We also have Dan from Wayne Manor North, as always.
Hey, everybody. It's glad to be here. Glad our fearless leader here is feeling a little bit better, so we're able to get this done.
Absolutely. We also have Eric B. in the house from All Things Art.
Hey, everybody. Happy Friday. Hope everybody has a good weekend. Looking forward to this Sunday with the Chiefs and the Eagles. So
that's right.
Good luck, Chris.
Thank you very much. We were talking before the show. I'm real nervous, but hopefully it'll be a great game, and we'll be proud of it. So, right down here from the Secret Sanctuary himself, Mr. Jeff Delaney in the house.
Hi guys. Hope you're having a good day and a great weekend coming up.
We are indeed. We also have, last but certainly not least, Mr. Jeff Morris in the house in the center square.
Hey, everybody. That's where I need to be, in the center square.
Does that make you Paul Lynde?
I was just going to say that.
I could never fill those shoes.
He was the greatest part of that show by far. He was fantastic.
Like,
every show. Yeah,
every show. The most amazing smart mouth.
Yeah.
And smart ass.
It was awesome. Yep.
He was indeed. I want to do a couple of little housekeeping at the beginning. I just want to say thanks, everybody. We've got 102 people already in here with 3 minutes in, so thank you very much. I do apologize. I have been under the weather this week, had a really bad sore throat Wednesday, and I just knew I wouldn't be able to do the show justice. So I thank the panel here for all coming here on Friday, and also all of you that have showed up on Friday night as well. I also want to take just a second off the top here, and I want to wish Laura a very, very happy birthday. I know Laura's watching, and I just wanted to say hello to you, and from all the Rogues Gallery, happy birthday, and we hope you have a great celebration. Anyway, happy birthday.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday.
All right. So with that said, again, if this is the first time joining, this is kind of a, free wheeling dealing type of show. We, interact with the chat as much as possible. We've got a couple of different topics as well tonight. And I want to thank everybody that offered topic ideas in the Facebook group. Sometimes it's hard to come up with different ideas that we haven't already tackled doing, over 100 shows. And so I really appreciate that. And, so hopefully we'll, have some entertaining things to talk about tonight. I do want to say hello to some folks before we get started here. We've got Justin Sports Statue Collector in the house, all Batman fanatics. Thank you for being here. We got Matt G in the house. Thank you very much, Matt. Chris and Logan, Brotherhood member. What's up, Chris? Hope you are better. We have the Kentucky Two Steps. What's up, everyone? Nice to know I'm not the only one chatting with dudes about statues on a Friday night. We're party animals. Yes, that's very true. Anthony Kennedy in the house. We've got Captain Trenchcoat, Brotherhood member. Thank you very much. Brotherhood member Lewis. There's Eric B. Bryan Diehl. Hello, all. I already pre-ordered that skin tone poison ivy, even though I have the OG. Look forward to tonight's conversation. I have a feeling we'll definitely be talking about that piece tonight for sure. Hello to you. We've got Mike Stainbrook in the house, Dylan in the house, Josue, Rob, Rerum in the house. We've got Gotham Goon. I'm hurting bad. Had to pay $1,213 for postage and another $600 for custom and duties to get my Prime 1 Wonder Woman versus Hydra. Oh, my Lord in heaven.
That's insane.
Oh, Gotham Goon, where are you? Where are you located? Oh, my gosh. That is awful. That is awful.
That's brutal. Oof.
Board Cube 1 of 2 in the house. Did I make it to the Enablers Club in time? That's what we should call this show, is just the Enablers Club. We really should. Statue Doctor in the house says, happy Super Bowl Friday night. Great to see you. Welcome, Julia. Again, everybody, welcome Julia to the chat. Really glad to have her with us tonight. We got Leo again. Sorry if I'm missing some folks. Let's see. It says, guys with Julia on, behave. And Julia looks, or kind of looks like Poison Ivy. Is that on purpose, Julia? Are you saying
On purpose?
You have the red hair to go along with Poison Ivy? Is that what draws you to her?
It just happens. I've gotten it my whole life that I look like Poison Ivy. So I'm drawn to her strength, and yeah, I think the red hair too does it.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Well, it's perfect. It works very well. It does. Let's see if I'm missing anybody. I'm sure I am missing some folks. Let's see, the Bataholic in the house. Carlos, sorry, I'm jumping around a little bit, guys. Odin in the house. We've got Dez calling all collectors. John in the house. Mark saying hello. Thank you for being a member, Mark. And Ronaldo. Everybody just saying hello. Oh, there's Laura. Thank you for the birthday wishes. Waiting for my Queen Studios Wonder Woman. She's my gift for me to me. That's fantastic. Well, again, happy birthday from all of us here on the channel. So what's going on with the panel tonight? Anything exciting going on? Any new pieces coming in?
We have a burglar on the side of our house as we speak.
Are you kidding?
That's my Ring camera.
Oh my gosh.
Well, for the past few nights, we've had like a mama and papa raccoon coming by to eat our birdseed. And he's out there right now. My Ring camera alerts when he comes by. So
that's pretty awesome. I was actually thinking you had a real burglar. I was like, that's not good.
Oh, no. We've got 2 big fat raccoons.
Well, that's pretty awesome. I think they're awesome.
Yeah, I do. We love them. Yep. So that's new.
Yeah, so that's new. Anything else? Anything coming in that you guys are excited about, or anything that's, maybe in the next week or so, a couple of months?
Well, I bought the OG Croc.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Surprised you guys with yesterday. Yeah, I've always admired that piece. I never purchased him because I had the 3rd scale Prime 1, but when I moved away from that one in Freeze, mainly for space reasons, I haven't had a Croc, and I kind of miss having him in the collection. So I was able to find one for a really good deal. Actually, I don't know if he's watching tonight. I actually don't even know his real name, but I found it on eBay, and he sent me pictures of his collection after I purchased the piece with him, and it was really nice, very Batman heavy. And I said, "Hey, you don't watch Batman Statue Collector on YouTube, do you?" And he said, "Oh yeah, I know Chris. I watch all the time." I said, "Oh well, this is Dan from Wayne Manor North." He laughed. So yeah, but really nice collection, great collector, and that piece will be here Tuesday. That's
great. Nice. I'm really. We were talking in our private chat. That's like I'm looking at it right here. It's a great piece. It's problematic with the depth.
Depth is a little weird,
because it's a little bit weird. But I would still like to see them at some point tackle a new Croc. But it's a very underrated piece. It really is. And
you know what? He's he's very fairly priced. He's got great detail on him. When I saw him at your place, that's the first and only time I've seen him in person. And he's got great detail on him. I know some people don't like the mixed media pants. Doesn't bother me that much at all, really. So it'll be great to have him in the collection until they come up with something better. I've seen some of the customs, which I know we don't do much here on the channel, but just these massive things, and I don't know.
How do you feel about the neck seam? Are you going to put a chain on him around the neck?
I'm going to absolutely steal Chris's idea.
Yep, that's what I was just going to ask. I mean, he looks great with the chain.
Yeah, I think so too. It's a great ad. Yeah.
It's awesome.
Yeah.
How about you, Eric? Anything coming your way?
No, I was doing some Tetris with the boxes I needed to put away last night in my attic, which is a pain in the ass. That now I'm in 3rd scale. It's kind of hard to get some of the boxes through the attic door, so I have to take everything apart and like with the styrofoam, bring that up first, then collapse the box, and then bring that up, and then put everything back together. So it's a little more work with the 1/3 scale.
Yeah, that is for sure. I had to do kind of that in a way this last weekend. I get the prototypes from XM, and XM said they're ready for me to ship them back now, but they need all of the dimensions and the weight. Of course, that's all in storage in another town.
Oh,
So it was like 12 boxes that I had to go, last Sunday, drive all the way out of town, measure and weigh each one, and then, write them all down and then get the information back to them. So I feel like I was playing a little bit of Tetris too and trying to get some back to my hometown so I could ship them then. It's going to take 2 trips. So anyway, it is what it is. But I think we've all played that Tetris game with our boxes at some point. For sure. How about the Jeffs? Anything coming your way to your Labodes?
Not in the very near future. I'm waiting on the Captain America from Queen Studios and the Ledger Joker quarter scale from Queen Studios. But I think those are probably still a month or 2 off. I sold my Silver Surfer premium format.
Oh, you did.
And someone is giving me time payments on the Psylocke variant. I sold that one as well.
And anything in particular you're making room for, like a giant green thing?
Well, yeah, there's making room for anything that's coming in because there's no room in here now. So I'm going to clear this shelf behind me with the X-Men on it now. And that'll be used for either Avengers or I'll put a bunch of DC ladies up there. I haven't decided what yet.
Well, we're excited. We'll follow the progress. That'll be neat.
Yeah, it'll be fun.
How about you, Jeff? Anything?
I'm waiting for the Captain America to come.
Oh, the half scale?
Mm-hmm.
Any
Your-
indication?
March
Yeah.
last. That was from Spec Fiction.
Yeah, I was just going to ask
That
you.
was, I think, the message last Friday or the Friday before.
Yeah.
They said it would be in March.
Well, right
So-
around the corner.
Yeah, that'll be great. I can't wait for you to get that piece. It's massive. It's going to blow you away when you see it.
Yeah, I don't know where. I have kind of an idea, but I kind of like it in this room. So I don't know.
Well, we're excited for you. And then how about you, Julia? Anything that you have coming in that you've ordered? I mean, obviously, I think the cat's out of the bag. You've ordered the Poison Ivy from Prime 1, which is very, very exciting.
I did. I know. I'm so excited about that. I don't know where she's going to go. I mean, I'll figure it out, but
We all do. Yeah. Welcome to Thunderdome.
Yeah. Well, since this is your, go ahead.
so much enabling happened with that piece. It was
A lot.
A lot. Absolutely. Well, since this is your first time on the show, why don't you tell the audience a little bit about, what pieces you have or what pieces you collect or what you're into?
Oh, sure. So I am the Poison Ivy of the group, I guess we could say. Mostly collect Poison Ivy, with the exception of I do have the premium format Scarlet Witch. So I collect the Enchantresses, I would say. But I do have a few select things. I have the Hot Toys Jack Nicholson Joker here. And then I have the Mime one over there. But I also have the Tweeterhead Poison Ivy here. So things are kind of, interspersed around. I do have the 2 premium format Ivies. I can probably move the camera up a little bit. There you go.
Oh, yeah.
So she gets mixed in with my books because I'm a writer, as well as being a teacher. So for me, it's like I need my collection to fit amongst my interests and everything I do. So, and the other thing besides Ivy, I do have the new Red Riding Hood that Sideshow put out, the J. Scott Campbell.
Oh, that's cool.
That's
So,
very,
yeah.
very cool.
So yeah, and then I have like some odd, pieces here and there. The Joker, the Killing Joke, the old DC designer, the camera one.
Yes.
Because I'm really into photography, do some freelance photography work. So, I like to have everything has a meaning for me. So
That's the way
That's
to do
awesome. That's very, very cool. Well,
yeah.
I wanted to kind of pick your brain a little bit because we were talking in the group. It's so refreshing to have a female perspective to this hobby, and I feel like there are few and far between, especially where you have been part of the chat or you've been part of the Facebook group. It's nice to see, and I feel like more and more females are entering this hobby, which I think is phenomenal. Whereas I feel like sometimes in the past, I feel like it's been kind of in the shadows a little bit. and maybe that people didn't really want to come forward and talk about it much. But I was curious about your collecting journey, kind of like how you got into statues and like what drew you to them, and what it means for you, I don't know, to be represented in this hobby like you are.
I have to say, I was the girl who, if you remember the old Warner Brothers store,
Yeah.
these stores that were around, I was the girl who would go in, and I went in pretty regularly, and I would ask, do you have any poison ivy? Do you have any poison ivy? And it was always no poison ivy. And it was discouraging. I wanted there to be some kind of representation of poison ivy. And then, like anything else, like I remember, Chris, you had said you got away from it for a while. Life happened.
Yep.
But it was always something. Like I wanted some kind of representation of her. And then I have to say, like during COVID, during lockdown, we're all thinking about, how we can better our spaces and things we can do, interior, because we were spending so much time home. Right. So I started doing a search again, just like I wanted like a little piece for my desk. And then I realized, oh, there's Sideshow Collectibles. There are big statues.
Mm-hmm.
I said, uh-oh. And then it was really, aside from some little things, it was Eric, you were the one who sold me the ivy.
Well, I thought it looked familiar.
That's awesome.
Not familiar.
Very cool.
I remember helping you with it.
Yeah.
That's
and
awesome.
that was really like the beginning of the end, because then I realized like, oh, there was another one before that. So I ended up getting that one shortly after. There was a collector in Vegas who was selling her. And, the whole thing, I mean, with the shipping and the costs, it's stressful, especially when you're ordering from someone you don't know what it might look like. I mean, Eric, I trusted you just because I had followed the chat and I had known, this is a dependable group and I can order from you, but from some random collector in Vegas.
Yeah.
But it worked out. And it is exciting though to be able to see the new poison ivies come out, because to be able to pre-order and to say, okay, I'm going to get something with everyone else instead of, getting something like after the fact and when it's been out forever. I can, enjoy the excitement with all of you. But it does feel, it's one of those things for me, it's always been linked to art and creativity. And my writing, it's funny. My writing has been compared to like poison ivy, kind of, the themes and just the whole like image of her. And so a lot of people have said, you're thematically, like if they know Batman, and they say, that kind of seems like something poison ivy-esque. So for me, it's all linked to art. And, I look at it like you do, Chris. It's art. So it just livens my space.
That's awesome. Well, again, it's just like I said, it's just so refreshing, because I feel like, it's for a long time, it's just been a bunch of guys, collecting this stuff. And so it's really nice to see more and more females come forward and be part of this hobby and appreciate, because like you said, it is art. And art is always subjective. I mean, what one person likes might not be what somebody else right next to you likes. But obviously we've all come together because we appreciate this really awesome pop art. You mentioned liking Poison Ivy from way back in the Warner Brothers stores. Did you like her and like kind of like fall in love with her with the animated series, or was it something before that?
Yeah, really the animated series. And I'm really excited about that new Sideshow piece, because that's that classic costume. I'm not so much into what they're doing with her now, but I do like the story of, with the comics. I mean, there are some things here and there, hits and misses, right? But I do like how she's definitely getting more popular, which is nice. Mm-hmm. Because I think for a long time, it was just nothing against, Harley Quinn and all that. But I think Poison Ivy is one of those characters that she's powerful. She is strong. And I think that she's a great representation of, she definitely has a handle on things, and she's smart. And so she's powerful.
And so
it's great to see her represented.
And it's really great because all of a sudden she's kind of exploding all over the statue scene.
Yeah.
You know, when people were talking about topic ideas, that was one of them. They said that it's like, you know, why is it that as soon as we've been wanting a character for a long time, then all of a sudden we get 10 of them, which is a great problem to have if that's who you collect. I mean, obviously we talk about all the time that we want more new characters, but clearly these Poison Ivies that are coming out are really exciting. They've got a couple from, or one from Prime 1, from Sideshow, and then the third scale variant that you've now ordered. So that's your first third scale piece, right?
It is, although some people say that Scarlet Witch, that premium format, should have been like considered third scale. I mean, she's 29 inches tall. I have her on a high
Wow,
show.
really? Wow.
Yeah. Well, she has her arms up and everything, but yeah. So I try to go for I guess I call it the enchantresses, I guess.
Yeah. That's awesome. Well, that'll kind of lead us on to our first topic tonight. And again, this was a suggestion. I thought it was a great topic that we could all just kind of go around the horn, but I'm going to entitle this one A Hidden Passion. So we do collect stuff that's a little bit weird to a lot of people whenever they think about, you know, painted stone that we collect. And so the question posed in the Facebook group was, you know, is it something that as collectors that are we real forthcoming outside of, like, obviously we do this on YouTube, but like, you know, to everybody else, like, do we tell our friends and family? Do we tell people we work with about these collections? Do we have people over to look at them, or do we keep them private? I think this was Thomas Nielsen's question. So I just kind of want to go around the horn. Like, what do you guys think? Is it something that, I mean, I know that we're proud of it here, but in real life, is it something that everybody in your life knows about? How about you? We start with you, Dan.
I mean, family and friends, certainly, you know, they all know it. Work, select people that I'm closer with do, but that's with really any aspect of my personal life, not just, you know, hobbies or, you know, that kind of thing. It's any aspect. So yeah, there's a handful of people that I consider friends that I work with that know about it. Sure. Yep. I mean, nobody that I talk to about it, you know, there's nobody that, like, you know, that I can kind of go into the kind of depth, obviously, that we go into on a daily basis. You know, that's why, you know, I love our friend group as much as I do, because it's great. You can share all the detail you want. Absolutely. 5 slobs.
I'd say 5 slobs, but man,
God, you believe they're talking about you guys that way?
This is coming from somebody called Dickface, so it's like, just saying, you know. I know, we're playing with you too. Real quick, sorry for the interruption here, but Josh Duckwall, $20 super chat. Thank you very much. Good evening, Chris and crew. Hope everyone is well. Wanted to thank you all for the continued content and push to get some amazing statues. Cheers. Well, thank you very much, Josh. That's awesome. Really appreciate it. Again, that all goes into the Bat Bunker Fund, which I think is starting on Monday, I think. So it's getting really, really soon here, which is a little scary and a little exciting all at the same time. So again, thanks very much, Josh. I don't know if you were done, Dan. I don't know if you were done. Okay.
That's my 2 cents on the topic.
Okay. All right. How about you, Eric?
Yeah, similar to what Dan said. It's not like I go around work and like brag about the statues I have. I think people probably think I'm crazy if I did something like that, or not even like understand it. Like, even with my friends, I have, you know, a good set of friends that I've known for a long time. And if they do come over, I don't think they still fully grasp, like, these are like high-end collectibles. They cost a lot of money, you know, don't touch this and that.
Do they think it's cool though, or do they think it's
weird? Yeah. Everybody always thinks it's very cool when they come over and look at them. But for the most part, I try to keep that quiet, because at the same time, I know these things do cost a lot of money, and I don't want to, you know, go around bragging that I have like this huge high-end collection. I mean, that's not as much as most people have, but either way, I don't want somebody coming and tempting them to break into my house that I have like all this valuable stuff in my house. It's like saying like I have tons of gold and you know, jewelry laying around my house. It's not something I want to go around sharing with everybody, even though I'm on YouTube now doing it. But
yeah, I understand that completely. How about you, Jeff Delaney?
There was a time in my late teens, early 20s, where I did not disclose to practically anyone that I collected comics. But statues, I've never really been guarded about. So I like Eric said, I don't announce it, but if it comes up in conversation, I certainly acknowledge it and talk about it. Funny story, a couple of weeks ago, we had an angry customer at work who had a bad interaction with my boss. And so he came to me to express his displeasure, and he was pretty angry. And so he's chatting, talking to me, and he looked over my shoulder at my desk where I have a bunch of pops, mostly Justice League pops. And he stopped talking and opened up his jacket to reveal a JLA t-shirt. And we totally bonded, and he Justice League kind of tempered that whole situation. So
that's hilarious.
Yeah. So no, I don't keep it quiet, but I don't announce it either.
Yeah. How about you, Jeff Morris?
Close friends, that have been to my house see it, but I don't really. It's not something that it doesn't really come up unless somebody is talking about. Like a character or something, and I feel close enough to them to really talk about or show them some pictures of. But company comes, they think it's cool. I'm sure they think it's odd. They're like, why do you have so much crap?
But it's nicely organized.
Yeah, it's fairly organized.
I think my father-in-law thinks I'm a nut.
Oh yeah, I'm sure.
Yeah,
family and friends are like, but that is not far from being true. So yeah,
we don't want to know what our families actually think. I mean, that they're going to be nice about it, but we don't want to know what they actually think.
If you don't have the collecting gene, it's going to look weird.
Correct.
Yeah.
How about you, Julia? Do you share with your friends and family?
A lot like Jeff Delaney. So very, it's like people who need to know. I don't go around advertising it, but I also don't have, well, as of right now, too much. So what I do have just nicely fits within my spot here, and this is also like my writing area. So I feel like there's my excuse. It's all part of my art and my inspiration. So
it's a great way of looking at it. I like that. That's awesome. Well, I'm the same way with a lot of you. Like, I mean, my friends and family know about it, but like, I don't advertise it like at work. Again, a lot of you know that I'm an elementary educator. And so, I keep thinking, man, I could have like 500 new subs every year, but it's like, I don't ever tell the kids. Like, that's just something I feel like it's just, I don't cross that line. Even though we are a family friendly channel here, like I still feel like that's just something I don't do. And I don't talk about it at work really. There's a few people at work that know I have a channel.
Do kids ever recognize you and be like, oh, I've seen you on YouTube, like from your school?
This year, I actually had somebody that recognized me from TikTok, that I had some TikTok videos. They're like, I know your channel.
Secret's out.
Yeah, the secret's out. But I actually kind of was thinking it might blow up from there a little bit in the school, but it really didn't. So it's like, because I talk to the kids about, like, they know that I do social media and stuff like that, because we talk a lot about, me being a counselor, we talk a lot about the dangers of social media and how you have to be careful with passwords and all that stuff. Especially when I teach my 4th and 5th graders. And it's just one of those things where I talk about it, but I don't really tell them what it is specifically. But it's cool. Like, I mean, like having the contractors over at the house, like I was trying to explain to them kind of, what was going on. And then they brought the electrician came over this week and they're like, can I see your collection? Like, he was really excited. So like when people come over, they, again, being in the middle of Kansas, like, people don't see anything like this ever. And so these are very unique rooms that we have without a shadow of a doubt.
Yeah.
So when you have the people that put in the Wi-Fi and security system, and when I got the new TV last year, and the guys from Best Buy and came. And the one guy that was putting in the Wi-Fi routers was like, he said, "There's a guy," and he told me an area not far from here, and he said he has got Alex Ross like paintings all over his house.
Wow.
I'm like, damn,
that's cool.
This is why I keep those things private. I don't want my info going around to the wrong person.
Yeah. He did. I mean, he didn't, didn't disclose anything, but he was like, and then he went upstairs and got the other guy, and he's like, "You have to come down here."
Yeah, that's cool. And that's another thing is like doing the YouTube thing is like Eric said, it is a little scary because, you don't want people to like think, well, I'm going to break in and, and I'm sure we all have, great security systems, but it's like one of those things where there is a lot of money down here, although it'd be very difficult to
the good thing with statues is it's not so easy to just pick it up and steal it. It's kind of heavy, and chances are you're going to break it on the way out. So
I dare somebody to try to steal Mr. Freeze.
Would break in to just tear crap up.
Yeah,
it's my fear.
Yeah, it's very very true.
I'd hate to have to shoot somebody, but
so he mentioned Alex Ross. Julie, are you a fan of that kind of artwork also? I mean, I know you said you're into art and photography. Are you into like some of those, awesome paintings from Alex Ross or Lita Bermejo or some of those artists?
Oh, I love it. Everything that you've gotten, Chris. I mean, really, if I had unlimited space and money, I just love it. I have a couple of pieces that, I've been drawn to them, some poison ivies. I have the Tula Lotte behind me, which I just love. I just love that. So again, I mean, I try to keep it manageable because I don't want my room to, look overwhelming. But if I had like all the space, oh yeah, I love it. I think that those Alex Ross pieces, and then you got the Bermejo one with the Batman and the Joker, and for me, I feel like my collection, I don't know, it's definitely more feminine, and I feel, talking to Paula, I feel like she and I have the same kind of, she collects the Harley Quinn, I collect the Poison Ivy. So I definitely like the things that look more feminine. But yeah, if I had all the space.
I know that's where we get in trouble, right? It's like we always say we want more space, and I'm getting ready to go in a lot more space, but then at the same time, I'm like, is that a good thing or a bad thing? Because again, it's just you got to fill it, and then when you fill it, then what do you do? And then when's enough? We could go on for hours about that, but I love when people pair the art with the statues. I think that just always looks so nice. Obviously, Dan's a great inspiration for me. Being able to visit recently and see how great all the art looks, and that's I think that's what I'm most nervous about with the new space is trying to figure out how to incorporate the art into that space. But I know I've got some great people for advice here. So in this great community watching. So 205 people right now. Thank you guys so very much for being here. If you would do me a favor, hit the like button. That really helps us out tremendously. Anything else you guys want to talk about with the rest of topic one, or do you want to move on to? I just realized I didn't have the number one in my topic, but do you want to move on?
Julia brought up an interesting idea. What percentage of everyone's collection is male versus female? I think I'm 50-50.
Wow. Yeah, I'm not 50-50.
No.
I feel like my collection was mostly male, and now it's becoming mostly female.
Mm-hmm.
I've got 7 in my collection, 7 female statues. I've got 3 Harley Quinn third scales. I've got 1 green poison ivy and 1 flesh color poison ivy on the way. I've got a Catwoman from Arkham, a poison ivy from Samurai, and another Harley Samurai. That's it.
I have 13 females, so that's a little less than half.
That's awesome. I think Julie, yours is all female except for the Joker.
All female. I had to get the 2 Nicholson Jokers because they're just my favorite. And I finally just said, you know what? They're not going to probably make another Nicholson. So if I can get them, I'll get them. And then I have the Killing Joke Joker, the 12-inch one with the camera. And I have your OG Joker, Chris. I call him the Fred Astaire Joker.
Yes.
So he's
Yes,
cool.
such a great piece, and still lives up. I still feel like it holds up to everything that's new.
I just love that piece. Yeah, he fits in. He has a certain, I don't know, flair, elegance about him. He fits in. But yeah, that's really it. So aside from a couple of Jokers, all female.
That's awesome. I wish that that's the thing, is only collecting Batman. You are a little bit limited to how many females there are. I mean, again, I would really love Italia. I've been asking for her for a long time. Punchline, I got the shipping notification for Punchline, so I am getting her in. And so I'm really excited to add another female, because I do like the balance. I mean, it is very male dominated in this room for sure.
But you can do Gotham City Sirens. You can do Birds of Prey. There's
true.
a lot of Batman-related females.
I actually, in my count, I forgot because I have my closet closed over there, but I also have the Sideshow Catwoman, the Sideshow Harley, and the Tweeterhead Harley.
There you go. Yeah.
So,
Jeff, you know what piece I had my finger on the trigger the other night, and I just couldn't do it until I talked to you guys. The Sideshow premium format Huntress, but not the new one, the old one.
Oh, I like that piece.
That's a really nice looking piece.
So there's a thing with that piece, and I don't know if it was the whole run or just the mini that I've seen, but it's like they didn't let the paint dry on that piece before they shipped him out.
Yeah.
So the cape comes over, and there are two gold pegs that go right in here. And when I took mine out, when I sold it, it took a bunch of the paint with it.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
And it's still invisible with the cape on, but I've seen other collectors with the exact same problem.
Okay.
Yeah. They actually had to ship people new capes. I don't know if did you ever get the new cape too? And all that?
Yeah. Yeah.
Crazy.
The paint bled, the purple bled into the white on the cape.
Yeah, I had somebody reach out to me wanting to fix that, and they never realized they issued a new cape. And I was like, well, even if I fix it, once you put back on the old cape, it's just going to happen again. You got to try to contact them and see if you can get that new cape.
Yep.
Yeah. But no, the pose on that piece and the portrait, everything's really cool. That's a nice piece.
Okay. Cool. Good.
It's very pretty. I've seen that one in person.
Have you?
I actually kind of like it better than the new one.
Mm-hmm.
For me, I do, but I don't know. To me, the portrait is more reminiscent of the Prime 1/3 scale, which to me is just incredible.
it's closer.
Yeah, it's incredible. I love that piece.
At a much more affordable price.
But she looked a little bit more like an adult.
Right.
And the new one looks a little like maybe 21 at best.
Yeah, I'd agree with that.
Yeah.
But I do like the new one. I have it, and I really like it.
I like them both.
She goes really good with Harley Hell on Wheels and the Batgirl crashing you through the window.
Yep.
Another one I thought of that I would love to see somebody make is one of my all-time favorite. I don't know why I love this character, but I love the ventriloquist. And I don't know if anybody will ever make the ventriloquist, but eventually he had a female handler. I can't remember what her name was in the comics. Do you guys remember?
No, I don't.
No,
I can't remember, but she was kind of always like in a long, like an entertainment dress or something. But I think that would be cool too, to do a spin with her as a statue. But I don't think we'll ever get that. But
if even you can't remember her name,
I know.
Yeah,
I know. That's the bad thing. It is. Okay. Well, anything else you want to talk about with that, or do you want to move on?
Let's move on.
Okay. The second topic was topic 2. Does this hobby have sustainability? The points that they were bringing up was, with the rising costs, shipping, we've talked about a lot here on the channel, just the never ending price increases. They were asking, like, do we think that certain statue companies are going to be around in 10 years? Do we think we're still going to be collecting in 10 years? Do we think that the statue companies are still going to be able to make a profit when the ESs are 200? What do you guys think? Do you feel like at this point, we've talked a lot about some of these big issues. Do you feel like this hobby is going to be around in 10 years?
Oof.
I know it's a heavy topic.
Yeah, it'll be around in 10 years.
Yeah.
It will have evolved, but it will be here.
Yeah.
What do you think it'll involve too?
Some companies will go, new companies will spring up. Yes, there might be. Well, yes, there very likely will be lower edition sizes, but I can't imagine that it will go away completely. That doesn't make any sense to me. I'll give you an example. I'm very involved in two communities. One is statues, and one is vintage comics. People have been calling for the death of the vintage comic market for at least 30 years.
It's true.
And if you know what to buy, it consistently goes up, 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 up. It just doesn't go down. And it's not going anywhere. The statue community, as far as interaction and is light years more active than vintage comics. I think I've said it before. If you look up vintage comics on YouTube, you're not getting anywhere near the content you're getting for statues. So, I mean, yes, you're getting the what's hot this week kind of stuff. But when you're talking about really drilling down on the history of comics, there isn't that much. And trust me, I've tried. I will do a YouTube video on a statue related topic and get 3,000 views, and do one on vintage comics and I'll get 300 views.
Yep.
There's just not the viewership out there. So if vintage comics can survive and continue to go up in value, I can't imagine that the statue community would allow this hobby to go away.
Do you think that's an age thing? Do you think that, it's like
thing?
an age thing? Like there are less younger people maybe reading or collecting comics?
I don't know if there are less younger people, maybe, yes. But I think there's an awful lot of people reading digital comics that would never have gone and bought one off a spinner rack.
Yeah. Well, they said that once, like when digital first came out, they were like, well, are comics still going to be around? And they're still around. So,
right.
Yeah, digital's not going to kill it.
Yeah.
It could help it.
Yep.
Quite a bit.
Julie, were you much of a comic reader growing up?
Here and there. I feel like I've gotten more into it actually recently with the Poison Ivy series. And I mean, here and there. I was always a reader. Not so much comics, but every now and then I would find something I liked, But there are some classic stories that I love, like The Killing Joke. It's one of my favorites.
Yep.
So just some classic like Joker stories, but more recently, Three Jokers, the Poison Ivy series. I talked to Paula a little bit about there was a Vampirella Mind Warp series. So just whatever strikes. And I really think it had a lot to do with COVID, really, because it made us think about the world in a different way. And because we were all spending so much time at home, we were ordering a lot of things online. I found a lot of things. And then, you're online, you're looking for things to do, things to read. And, the world shuts down and you need to figure out, how do I fill that time?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
Whereas before there wasn't too much free time.
Yep.
So.
Well, I'm glad you found it. And I'm also glad you hooked up with Paula. That's really great that you guys can connect that way. That's awesome. She's great.
Oh, she is.
She
is.
Yeah. What do you think about this topic, Dan? Like, what do you think about 10 years? I mean, do you agree with what Jeff said about, companies will come and go? What do you think?
Yeah, I think they'll morph. I agree with Jeff. They're just going to, they'll morph. The healthy ones will be able to come up with, they'll innovate, right?
Mm-hmm.
They'll come up with ways to lower cost, maintain their margins, and, hit their targets just by changing the statues. They'll change scales, they'll change materials. I'm kind of shocked we're not seeing more quarter scale PVC statues, right? Lighter weight, reasonable scale, lighter shipping costs. I mean, Blitzway does phenomenal stuff with PVC portraits and we all love it. It's like, okay, why couldn't they continue that for the whole statue and make it a whole lot lighter?
Don't you think that'd have to be like a complete culture change though? because I mean, you remember when Sideshow did that with the Swamp Thing?
But I'm thinking, the
Like-
few times
like-
it has been done, it didn't go over too well in the community.
Yeah, but I think it would. But it's all about communication, right? It's about engaging with the community and explaining why and what are the upside benefits of PVC? Less breakage, lower shipping costs, more detail. I'm sure there's a whole laundry list of benefits that come with PVC. Then who cares at the end of the day if it's substantive? It's not like it's made of paper or something. It's not plastic. It's like it's a nice piece. Just because it's not a synthetic rock doesn't make it less valuable.
Well,
I forget who we had on, but I feel like somebody said that it was actually more money to produce it in plastic than over polystone.
Right,
So
but
do any of you remember that?
More about viability, right? So if the question is, can you keep consumers buying? They have to figure out a way to lower shipping costs, make it easier for the consumer to buy, right? Because like it looks like Prime One is making a shift toward quarter scale. That's absolutely a response to people buying less.
100%.
There's no other reason to do that, to retool and rethink all that. No, it's because their orders went way down.
And speaking of Prime One, I mean, obviously Detective Comics 1000 right over here. I mean, again, Dan, you have this piece, phenomenal piece. The fact that the cape is PVC, does that diminish the statue in any way for you? Like for me, it doesn't.
Whatsoever.
I say it all the time. Like I'm so happy that it is because it's not going to break. That torso is not near as heavy as the hush back cave that I have behind me, which is why it leans.
Yep.
I mean, I could care less. It looks fantastic. It's still sculpted. It's still painted.
But it works better on some pieces than others.
Yeah, I'm sure that's the case.
Like with the Detective, that cape is so like flowy and so much like going on with it. It's if it was just like a solid cape and plastic, I don't think it would work so well in that matter. Because then you're gonna see like it looks like plastic.
Yeah. What'd you say, Jeff?
It was still $500.
I know. I'm just saying it's still $500 to ship to me.
And people still won't buy it when it's like 25% off. They're like, no, I still will not pay that $500 shipping.
Yeah.
It's so disheartening. You get a 15% discount and then you put it in your cart and see $500 shipping. I mean, how many people have done that with the one that's on seconds right now and has been there for a week with no takers?
See the post all the time.
Don't you think this is the most telling it's ever been?
Yeah.
That people continually say, even with that, I am not going to spend that on shipping. Yeah. And people don't.
Yeah.
Because before
it's come to a point where it's too much and people realize that now it's insane.
Right. And we're to that point where before people would be like, I'm not going to do it, but they would do it anyway.
Yeah.
They would all be lip service and they would complain about it, but then they would still do it. But now we're really seeing people not do it. And, it sit there for a week on seconds, which again was unheard of.
Yeah.
Because usually those go really fast.
Yep.
Another one that keeps popping up is that Darth Vader Mythos.
Yeah.
Yep.
10,000 edition size. It makes you wonder, like, are they really like having the boxes messed up, or are they just trying to get rid of them at this point?
I wonder about Superman, the Chris Reeve Superman too. It's always on there.
I mean, I would absolutely guarantee that they're back in their warehouse dropping the box and make it dented because they're needing to get rid of them.
Yeah.
And it's smart.
Which I still think, if that's the case, if they're offering money back because the box is already damaged, then the same should go if it arrives to my house and it gets damaged, the box or whatever. I should get a discount, I think.
Well, don't they? I mean, they will offer that, won't they?
Yeah, I guess if you complain about it, I wouldn't go through that trouble. But
what about you, Eric? What do you think of the next 10 years? Do you think it'll be the same or different?
It'll be interesting to see if the technology changes in any way, as far as like, because we started with traditional sculpting, then it went to 3D sculpting. Now like the new thing seems to be like the silicone, like the companies are using the silicone. So I am curious to see where it goes in 10 years from now, if anything, like if any major changes happen. But yeah, I think statue companies will still be around. I don't know. It's still, like I said, it'll be interesting to see what they do, if they do make any changes. Like museum poses used to be really popular back in the day, and then statues got more dynamic. So curious to see where it goes next.
Yeah.
Do you think it's all going to come down to just simply price? Like, I mean, the prices just have to come down.
You think they might take like a step backwards and like start making more simpler pieces? I mean, I guess for the most part, Sideshow still makes, you know, more simpler style statues, nothing too crazy. But yeah, like I said, like Prime 1, it looks like Prime 1's now switching to quarter scale for that reason. So for these other companies that are putting out these high, you know, dollar items like, you know, the silicone stuff, it'll be interesting to see how long they stay around for. Because, you know, those are a lot of money, those pieces. So
let me ask you, Julia, how long have you been collecting statues proper? I mean, not necessarily the hot toys, but just statues.
Yeah, it's really been, I mean, I'm definitely the newbie. I want to say probably maybe 2 years.
Okay.
Yeah.
So being new, does it feel really overwhelming? I mean, you kind of came into these prices a little bit. I mean, you've obviously seen them go up even in that 2-year period. Does like, you know, you just order in your first third scale, do you look at that price and go like, holy moly, like, what am I doing? Like, does that freak you out as a new collector, like seeing those kind of prices and knowing they're only going to continue to go up?
It does. And, you know, in that way, I'm grateful that I'm very selective, and I have, you know, who's to say that'll probably change at some point, but I do have a focus and a vision, and I say, okay, I'm just going to stick with what I love, you know, and yeah, the prices, yeah, they're scary. I mean, I emailed you, I was talking to Dan about it. It was, it was tough. It was tough to swallow that, but at the same time, it's, you know, I was looking at it and I'm like, they're probably never gonna do this again. So it's like you always say, Chris, you know, I mean, we don't want to pay, but yet we end up paying because we look at it and we say, well, that's never going to happen again. Once that's gone, it's gone. It will just increase on the secondary market. So
well, I think what you said is really important for a lot of collectors, and I feel like a lot of us have trouble with it, is that focus, is, you know, trying to narrow it down, because in the old days, and then we're talking 10 years ago, like, you know, it was a lot easier to buy everything. I mean, because everything was $300.
Yeah. Both buy and sell.
Correct.
So like if you wanted just to try something out and pick it up and then decide you don't like it and sell it, now you can't really do that anymore either. It's hard to sell things these days.
So, you know, back then it was much easier. Whereas now it's like I think it's like you said, it's just so important to pick a focus and really kind of narrow it down to those pieces that you really want. Obviously we talk about not spending beyond your means, which again is hard for some people, because a lot of people have the I wants. You know, I want this, and I'm going to get it and try to make it happen. Obviously space limits a lot of us as well. I know like what Jeff's going through right now with kind of his reorganization with all his movie pieces coming in, and his giant green thing. And I cannot wait for that, by the way.
I can't either.
Yeah, I'm so excited. I'm so excited for you. But
I can't wait.
I know it's so awesome. But you know, it really, I'm just like, I'm thankful every day that I picked a focus, although, you know, I did pick a focus with a lot of characters. So it's like I should have just picked like Darth Vader or something. Like, that's all I collect. I do envy those people, because that's, you know, if you're only collecting Poison Ivy, that's great, because there's not a ton, and it helps you kind of, you know, rein you in a little bit, which is great. But
they do make a lot of them.
So you got the skin variant, Julia?
The for the Prime, did I order that one?
Yeah, did you go to the skin variant?
I did. Yes.
Yeah, see, I personally like that one a lot more than the original.
Yeah, me too.
I'm kind of curious if it's going to be released in quarter scale sometime down the line.
I know, me too. And that's the thing. And I had to laugh because then they put out the new Sideshow one. Sideshow makes the announcement. So it's just funny how they, you know, they waited. And I saw people in the group say, well, do I cancel the Prime one and get the Sideshow now? So,
Right.
I mean, they're for-profit companies, right? Like we always say.
I think, you know, we've talked about this before. I contend that it's I think they know you know, this collecting community, and Chris, you were talking about it when you were saying, you know, when we were talking about, do we tell people about the hobby? There's only so many of us, right? The collecting community is only so big, and certainly a lot smaller than the comic book collecting community, right? So there's only so many of us. These things are really expensive. So if you think, okay, out of that group of us, how many are inclined to buy a poison ivy statue? And the group goes smaller. And then it's like, okay, how many poison ivy dollars are there to go around?
Right.
So this is absolutely a beat them to the punch, contest those dollars situation. No question about it. It's good. It gives us variety.
And that's all about timing too.
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
Because I have a green poison ivy right now. I have ordered the skin poison ivy. So I will be selling the green one.
Yep.
And the green one's very sought after. Now, will she still be as sought after? I don't know.
Right.
In the long run, I do think if Prime 1 was smart, I think that they will do a quarter scale, but I think it'll be the green one.
Do you really?
I do, because the green one is accurate to the book.
Yeah, that's true.
Whereas the skin isn't. And it's also the skin one is part of their 100 or their 10-year anniversary.
Yep.
Program. So I don't think that they would do that one in quarter scale because of that.
Interesting. Okay.
See, I think you're probably right, but I bet that they'd be tempted to, because I think that the new one will have less breakages. The hair is much less susceptible to breakage than the original.
Well, you saw that one's going to be made of PVC.
Well, there you go.
So, that's really smart, because, I've had a lot of Prime 1 hair, especially the Huntress. I think of that one a lot.
Yeah.
Like that one had a lot of hair breakage, which is really crazy. Even I just reviewed, again, Joe Latour. I don't know if you guys saw the review of the Wonder Woman. Sorry. Wonder Woman. And, her hair was giant taking her out of the box. Like it was all one big giant piece, and it made me nervous. It was really packed well, but I'm like, it's just another one of those that it's like a heavy hair. And so I love the idea that the Prime 1's doing a PVC hair. I think that's really, really smart.
Yeah.
Anything that's going to be that kind of fragile, I have no qualms at all with them doing that at all.
Yeah.
But
yeah, it seems like it's gotten better with the paint. Like back in the day, you could tell when something was painted plastic, and polystone between if it was on the same statue. Yeah. Now they're painting the plastic so well, it's almost sometimes hard to tell if it's even plastic or not. So it's definitely got better in the paint department.
Yeah, I agree.
Do you guys think there was a seam on that Chris Reeves Superman because the portrait is PVC?
That was one of my theories, that they had to work on the portrait separate and just went ahead with doing the body first, or maybe they had to get the fabric on in a certain way without the head being there. I don't know.
So are you thinking the neck is polystone and the head's PVC?
Yeah.
But why would they need to do that? Would it just be a magnet issue, do you think?
No idea why they did it. It was a big mistake. They shouldn't have had to do it, but why have a seam there if it was all polystone?
2 seams, because it was the one on the ear too.
Yeah.
Yeah, most of the time, yeah.
People are already, when Power Girl came out, the latest PF, that material in that portrait is different. It's lighter. So I'm assuming it's probably PVC. So it wouldn't be the first time that they use PVC in a portrait.
Interesting. But I just don't know why they would need to do it.
Well, we say you get better details and capture the likeness better with those. Like that.
But they didn't.
I know that's the downfall.
The thing. It's
what Hot Toys does with their stuff.
And they still could have done PVC down to the collar line, which they didn't.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. That would have been. I don't know. And maybe it was what you're saying, and they tried it and it didn't take very. I have seen that one in person, and it does look better in person than a lot of the photos. It's still not great in my opinion, but it is one of those that.
See, I was curious to see if another Reeves statue was going to come out in the near future, and maybe they were trying to rush to get this out the door first and went ahead and produced the bodies first while they waited on the license approval for the face. So they manufactured the body first, and then I don't know. There's a lot of conspiracies.
The Superman says in Jeff's video of Sideshow Con, which I went back to watch, I'm sure Jeff thanks you, and Christopher Reeve Superman had the same neckline at the con.
Wow.
Yeah, I think that was a production piece at the con. I'm not sure that I knew that at the time.
I didn't either.
But I think that was a production piece.
I've seen it in person. The next seam, from normal viewing distance, I couldn't even tell there was an next seam.
And I will concur. I think the further away you get from that statue, you can't. Well, I don't mean that in a bad way. I mean, I kind of do mean it. I mean, but it's like
like 2 feet away. You're not.
That's the problem. Is like the internet and the Facebook groups are awful because they will, we'll see a photo of something really close up. Like, here's I don't know if you guys saw that video today or not.
Oh yeah, I watched it. Yep.
But if you see something like super zoomed in on it, that's really different than if you're just holding it like here to the naked eye, you're not going to see near the details as you are blown up. So that Christopher Reeve, again, seen it in person, I really feel like that's one of those ones that if you just step back from it, it's going to be okay.
You know what? I think as much flack as that piece gets, I have this sneaky suspicion that it's actually doing really well for them. I mean, they must have had a lot of pre-orders to have that edition size, which is enormous.
It's insane.
And if you notice, the guy that went back and looked at my video, that video, which is like a 3-minute video spotlighting that piece, has more views than any of the spotlights I did at that convention.
Huh. That's interesting.
So I have a feeling that piece is probably selling pretty well. And also, Chris, you and I have that educator discount.
Yep.
That applies to most in-stock items. It still doesn't apply to that piece.
I wonder why.
So, because I think it's selling well. Because they with their newer pieces, they tend to hold back on allowing that discount to happen. But they've not allowed that for quite a while on that piece.
Well, and sometimes controversy creates cash.
Yeah,
it does. It's like that was a piece that a lot of people were talking about, got a lot of eyes on that product. Mm-hmm. And I, on a daily, see somebody say, hey, can we get a Christopher Reeve Superman statue from Prime 1 or from that was the thing. Whenever we saw the Michael Keaton Batman, that was the first thing out of everybody's mouth. Okay, when are we going to get the Chris Reeve Superman?
Yep.
So I think that there's still a very large demand for him, good or bad. It's like people are that desperate because people did not like the original Sideshow one where he was on the crack, the dam. And again, that was a PVC piece. That piece had controversy back then because it was the first piece that they had done that was PVC that they had not announced.
Yeah.
That it was PVC.
I want to see what Darkseid comes up with Chris Reeve.
Yeah.
And didn't Prime 1 and Blitzway announce one?
I don't think so.
No, maybe I'm misremembering that.
Not that I remember, but it's possible with all the trying to keep track of everything we do here. It's not always easy, but
I feel like there was another company, but I can't remember who it was. But definitely Darkseid has it on their slate.
That's cool. Well, that'll be awesome. So getting back to the 10-year question, I'll ask Julia this. Again, only being 2 years in, how long do you see yourself in this hobby? Do you feel that excitement and that knowing what's coming out and being part of the community and be like, okay, I'm just going to keep doing this for as long as I can. Kind of like, what's your goal with the hobby?
I feel like I lived through all of you, to be honest, because I know there are so many pieces that I want that, you could justify anything, right? If you want it, you could say, you know what? No, I like that. I want that. But for me, I try really hard to stay within that focus. And then it's like those other reviews come out and I get to see the pieces like that Wonder Woman that you reviewed. That was beautiful. And there are things that, you just want and you just say, So for me, I really collect what speaks to me. So it would have to be something that really speaks to me for me to collect it. So I don't know. Because I have such few pieces and I'm trying to keep it that way, I don't know if I would sell a Poison Ivy to get another Poison Ivy down the road. Because there've been so few. Right now I can accommodate all of them.
Yep.
But yeah, I don't know. It's a great question. It would have to depend on what comes up next.
Yeah. Yep. You kind of touched into my question. Would you be willing to sell what you have now, or are you so attached to what you have that if something better came along, you would sell like a piece that you already have for a newer piece?
It's possible. I mean, it's possible, but I am very attached to what I have because I have such few pieces.
Yeah. Well, that's
So,
good.
I mean,
That means you're happy with what you have. So that's good.
Exactly.
I am happy with what I have, but they've made it really tricky with these new poison ivies because, it went from like, okay, there are 3 poison ivy statues, right? Like when you think about the Tweeterhead one here, like main ones, the 2 PFs and then there's the green hush one, which I mean, I always really liked, but I never saw myself getting just because it didn't speak to me. I mean, there was a time when I thought about getting it, but I said, maybe if they do a flesh colored version, I would get her, down the road. But yeah, now, I mean, that there are so many new ones coming out, it is starting to be that. Like, oh, do I sell one to get the other one? But hopefully it won't be like, I don't want her to become like I know I keep saying Harley Quinn, but it's the only other character I can think of. They make so many.
Yeah. That's true. They
I feel like when there are so many, you can't enjoy them, because it's good to have choice and variety, but then it gets to be like, oh, well, how do I decide? What do I, it's that fear of missing out too.
Yep.
Whereas that's when they're scarce, right? When there's like 1 or 2 poison ivies.
Right.
That's good.
But you're hitting on all of the problems that we always have. It's like, the decisions that we have to make, and it is overwhelming because do I need 17 jokers? No. But am I a glutton for punishment? Yes. But it's very true. Like that's what we do. We always check those boxes and say, is this what I need to do to keep the hobby going? Selling something or trying to keep a hold of something. It's pretty crazy. It is. How about you, Jeff? I think we haven't heard from you yet about how you see the future of collecting the next 10 years. I think I'm curious as to where you see yourself collecting.
I'm sure I will be collecting some because I've collected stuff for so long, but have sold stuff and got new stuff. And the first statues I got into were when Gentle Giant made the Star Wars stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I think it was maybe 20 years ago.
Yep, that's what first
got me in. Anniversary for Star Wars. I can't remember what year it was, but they made quite a few, and I got into that and had those for a while, then sold those and got into this. So it's kind of like it seems like it the amount of people into it kind of grows and then it dwindles back down.
Mm-hmm.
But then you always seem to have some people are going to be collecting no matter what. It may not be as many. You may see some people go. I think it wouldn't surprise me to see the days of 1/3 scale statues die off for a while. It may come back, but I think the shipping is going to kill it.
Yeah, we're already seeing it. We're already seeing that happen.
Yeah.
It is sad. I do feel like, I don't know. I feel like with the statue collecting community, I feel like there's a bigger chunk of like 30 and 40-year-olds at this time.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like, but I still feel like there is a bunch of newcomers coming in that are younger.
Yep.
And so that's always a good sign. Anytime you can get a new batch of people in, I just don't know how long they're going to be willing to pay that kind of cost. I mean, we pay that cost because we've been in it for so long that we're hooked. I mean, we need that drug, And so I think with newer collectors, I am curious. It will be interesting to see like how long can you dangle the carrot for them if things continue to be priced the way they are.
We're assuming that diehard collectors are the majority of these companies' business. There's been a saying on Statue Forum for as long as I've been collecting that apparently a representative from Sideshow, back when they were more active on Statue Forum, once said that diehard statue collectors make up 3% of their business.
3?
How is that possible?
I don't know. But even if it's 10 or 20, that still means 80% of their business are people who maybe buy one statue and never come back.
But how do they get that out to people? Like Julie, how
San
did
Diego?
you mentioned that you found Sideshow? Like, how did you find them? Do you remember how you found them?
San Diego.
Place?
It was Comic-Con San Diego.
No, I'm to Julie. I'm talking to Julie.
Oh.
Sorry. I want to know yours too. Sorry.
Apparently not. Fine, I'll just leave.
And take your big gulp with you.
Let's go.
Yeah, right.
I am. Oh, damn it.
It's a good question. I honestly really think, I mean, I was just searching. You know, there was a little, so that was it. There was a little poison ivy statue, and it's a PVC. It's actually by Diamond Select, and she's like coming out of a flower.
Mm-hmm.
And it was one of those really, really affordable ones. And that was like the first one that I found, right? That I was like, oh, wow, they make a poison ivy. And I remember just looking, that was it. I was on YouTube and I wanted to see reviews before I, got it, even though it was, pretty affordable, right? And I remember, I think you came up, Chris.
Oh.
You came up with like your OG poison ivy review. And then that was like, that's the domino effect, right? And I said, oh, there's a bigger poison ivy there, and then I saw the little CoverGirl ones. So I really started to, it all came together. But I think it was YouTube. And then, like research on eBay and things, because of course, at that point, those statues weren't available. So I had to, deal with eBay. But I was, I was lucky. I got some really good deals. But yeah, I feel like it was YouTube.
That's cool. That's awesome. Yeah. So Jeff, where did you first discover Sideshow?
San Diego.
Oh, San Diego. Oh, yeah, that makes sense. Had you ever seen anything like that before you went to your first con like that? Like, had you seen?
Well, it wasn't my first con, but
well, I mean, like,
I had seen the stuff that DC puts out at my local comic shop.
Yeah,
and I'd picked up a few of those just to display with comics. I never thought about being a statue collector.
Yeah,
and I would wander through Sideshow's booth at the convention every year. But for some weird reason, it never occurred to me to buy one until one year when I saw the first Batgirl, and I thought, "Wow, that's really cool." I was actually slightly embarrassed to buy it. It just seemed like, why am I buying a 2-foot tall statue of Batgirl for $400? But
back then that was stupid money.
Yeah,
I mean, that was like, I'm not going to pay $400 for something like that. Like,
and
yeah,
it looks so cool in here. It just became a tidal wave. It was ridiculous.
Yep. Open the floodgates.
Yeah.
Well, anything else you guys want to say about this topic? I mean, again, I feel like we're all kind of in agreement that I feel like things kind of have to change a little bit. Maybe some companies have to tweak some things. Some might come and go, but I'm still optimistic that we'll still get great product and we'll get, things that we're going to be excited about for hopefully a long time to come. But anything else you guys want to add?
Collectors are being more careful with their money. You guys probably saw the post I did earlier today in my group that Suicide Squad Harley, they're only making 500.
That's
really of the Margot Robbie?
Yep.
500. That's it.
Wow, that says a lot.
With the ice cream base.
And that was a piece that again in San Diego, I saw a lot of like just casual people walk in and they really liked that one. And it's Margot Robbie and she's very popular. So I'm surprised about 500.
I think it's the base. I like the pose. Everybody wanted her in that costume, but the base doesn't work for me, and I don't think it worked for a lot of others.
Interesting. Well, I mean that does say a lot.
Yeah.
I mean the likeness I thought was good.
Yeah.
Crazy. Well, are you guys ready to look at photos?
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm actually going to step out, gentlemen and lady.
No worries, Eric.
My wife is actually off this weekend, so I promised her we would finish watching The Last of Us tonight. So
very good.
Enjoy it.
I will be doing that tonight.
Very
New
good. Well,
episode
enjoy.
today,
Have you watched episode 4?
No, that's what I'm up to next.
Okay, I've watched through 3, so I've got 4, and then I think 5 just premiered today. I think
Today.
How many are there in the season? Because I just saw that they announced season 2 already. So it's just 5, right? Okay.
5 so far.
Oh, so no, so far, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so there's gonna be more for season 1, though, right?
Yeah.
I would
10.
assume.
It's gonna be 10.
10.
IMDb has 10 listed.
Okay.
All right. Well,
I was
enjoy it.
trying to avoid spoilers. I saw people say something big happened in episode 4, so I'm anxious to see what happened.
Well,
Oh, you guys, Kevin Vincent saying in the chat that new Sideshow Joker is only 600 ES.
Wow.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
Yep.
That's really nuts for a Joker.
I wonder what the Poison Ivy's going to be.
Yeah.
Probably not. I mean, if Joker can only sell 600, I don't know though. The female statues seem to sell pretty well.
I may have 2 Ivies for the first time in my collecting career because I love the P1 Ivy too. I know there's been mixed reaction because some people are she's just a little too different from what they're used to, but I think she's awesome. The portraits are just incredible.
Yep.
So I'll have that one in the Sideshow one, I think.
And that's what I don't know what to do, because if I get this new Sideshow one, which I like, I still love the greenish one that you have on your top shelf, Julia, that one up top. And then this quarter scale from Prime 1, that's the cabbage leaf one, Yeah, that's her right there. I don't know. I don't know how I would display it because I think they're all really great.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's tough.
That Sideshow one that Julia was just showing on her top shelf, I just kind of noticed in poking around that thing just shot up in value like crazy. People asking,
you cannot find her.
Wow.
Insane prices for her.
Yeah.
Oh,
I don't know why, but she you never see her come up hardly ever.
Yep.
It's a great piece.
Like north of $1,000.
I know.
Wow.
This is crazy.
All right, guys.
All right. Thanks, Eric. Have a good night.
Have a good one.
Yeah. Take care.
Bye. Bye for now.
Good night.
Man.
There we go. All right. Let's
That
look
got me off guard. That was good.
at
I just got an email from Sideshow.
Oh, what do we got?
Maya Sokotano's coming.
Nice.
Ooh.
I want an email from Sideshow.
I do too.
I can't wait to get that piece.
And this is the movie version, right?
Yeah, the Rosario Dawson.
Oh my gosh. So I just logged into mine.
Oh boy.
Oh, guess what? Oh my God. Guess what's going to be shipping on, let's see, charged on Valentine's Day?
What's that?
My Infinity Studios Joker.
Oh,
Oh,
damn. Nice.
Only $4,000.
$1,000.
Holy moly.
Doesn't hurt at all.
Good thing you're rich.
Yep.
God, I wish. I do okay, but man, I tell you, that's hard. That's a lot of money at once.
Well, that Harley will probably come soon too.
I keep thinking, I don't know. I feel like I'm getting close to canceling
Which one?
the Margot Robbie bust.
Really?
I don't know. I'm torn because I feel like it would be, a great review for the channel, but I just don't know.
It's not taking a bullet.
Julie, what do you think of those busts? Do you like those at all, or are they too weird for you?
I don't know. They're a little strange when they don't have arms.
Yeah.
But the Harley that you had, the comic one that you sold, she looked like she had her arms behind her back.
Yeah, which is great.
Which I liked. So it didn't look so strange. But that the Margot Robbie one, I don't know. It just doesn't do it for me. It seems like it lost something. You know what I mean? Like in the photos, the initial photos we saw, she looked really good. And now it seems like it's just not there. The likeness isn't there.
So I completely agree. And so not to gush, and I've been thinking about this because it's obviously been really topical lately. As people start to get them in. And I don't mean to gush about Margot Robbie. I mean, I'm a big fan. I mean, who isn't? The woman's beautiful. But I think one of the things that makes Margot, her portrayal of the character so good is she's just kind of like bright and shiny. I don't know. She's just like, she sparkles.
It's her smile.
Mm-hmm.
It's that smile. And that doesn't come through in the bust, so you kind of lose that special part of Margot,
I get that.
I think the bust looks tired, like a tired
Yeah,
Like something's not
exactly.
Yeah.
like
Yep.
it's the end of the day after shooting 12 hours and jumping off a building.
Yeah.
Margot Robbie.
Well, and the fact that her hand was polystone and
That was bad.
not
And it
painted
looks a
well.
little funky.
That
Yeah.
was bad.
You could actually see the seams in between her gloves. Like it was not executed well for, I mean, again, if it was $1,000, it'd be freaking amazing. But if it's, again, $4,000 plus however much shipping, I'm a little nervous how much the Joker bust will be shipping wise.
Are they heavy? I don't have any of them, but
The Batman was.
Batman was heavy.
That's huge.
And it's massive. Like if you look at that piece compared to even like the Margot Robbie or the Joker, like it is way, way bigger.
Yeah.
It's just because he's got that armor and he's Affleck. I mean, he's supposed to be 6'4" or whatever. I mean, just it was a massive piece.
Yep.
And so I'm hoping that the Joker. I mean, that was 3 boxes. It was 3 giant boxes.
Wow.
And that's still going to Ashley. I still have it in my storage. So it's crazy, absolutely crazy. So anyway, yeah, Joker's coming, and congratulations for your Ahsoka.
I'm excited, and the shipping is only $32.
Oh, wow, that's fantastic. Well, you do live next. You do live next door to Sideshow, so it works
She's
out.
pretty small.
Yeah, man, what a great piece.
I hope so.
I still think the best Sideshow likeness of all time.
Well, we haven't seen a production piece yet, so we'll see.
That's true. That's true.
Yeah.
Hopefully, you'll be the first one to find out. I hope.
Hopefully, yeah.
All right.
Up there, they're telling you that you've got to do a live pre-order in the chat, Chris.
Oh, I might do that. Maybe we'll see.
You could do a live cancellation.
I could do a live cancellation. That might be an offset. Well, I'll think about it.
That was
could you guys see this? Okay.
Yeah.
Cancellation. Yes.
All right. So this was the big announcement. Was the Tweeterhead Two-Face maquette.
Yeah.
Which is very, very exciting. I've actually been able to see this in production or in being designed basically for the last year, and so it's very, very exciting to finally see this come to light. Obviously, we haven't seen the actual statue yet. I know you guys are going to be very, very pleased with it. And the only thing I don't know, and I'm trying to poke and prod chat a little bit. I don't know what scale these are going to be offered in. I think it does come down to whatever Sideshow wants because they have the quarter scale license. But I know a lot of collectors would love to see this offered in both scales. And so I don't know. What are you guys hoping to see from this statue?
Detail.
Yeah.
Detail. Yeah.
Yeah.
I
Don't be skimpy and gloss over it.
Yep. And multiple finishes. If I think about, I mean, I've owned the Arkham Knight, third scale from Prime 1.
Yeah.
And I think some of what made that piece so good was the detail and the multiple finishes. The burnt flesh.
The burnt.
Oh, real.
Or even the burnt suit.
And the burnt suit. Yeah. All the textures. You just had all these different textures and colors, and the level of realism was really good. And so if they go that route with this piece, I think it'll be great.
If they're smart, they'll do 2 portraits.
I almost can guarantee they're going to do 2. I think it's a no-brainer. Again, I don't know for sure, but I think it's just they need to absolutely do 2 portraits.
Yep.
And so I'm anxious to see what they do, but it is very exciting that this is finally teased. I've been telling you guys for a while that Tweeterhead's going to go all in on these characters, and believe me when I say they are going all in on these characters. So it's very, very exciting to see all the characters they're going to be doing that have not been done by major companies, really. So it's very, very exciting. So anyway, Two-Face is coming from Tweeterhead. So here's the Poison Ivy that we're talking about earlier. This is the brand new one. If you guys have not seen it, this was a new image finally released. I think they basically released this because I think it was a whoopser to begin with. And I'm sure that I did not help with that at all with my video because it's got a lot of views. I think it's got over like 6,000 views, I think. And so a lot of people have seen this teased. And so obviously they were very smart, I think, to get on the hype. What do you guys think of this? I think she looks just lovely.
I love it. I absolutely love it.
Incredible portrait. What do you like about this one, Julia?
I love the story. I mean, it's simple, but there's a definite story there. And one thing I did notice is that she has she's on the GCPD base, which we can only see a little bit of. And one of the plants has a policeman's hat in its mouth. So it makes me think about the logo actually is similar to the first Poison Ivy book series.
Yes.
It's like the exact same artwork. And there was a cover, I think it was like the second cover in the series. And she has the two policemen behind her. And it's like she's escaped. She's holding the handcuffs. And it's like she's put a spell on the policeman or something. So it made me think that this is kind of that storyline or something similar.
Very, very cool.
Yep.
Yeah.
I feel like it's very, kind of a nod to the animated series. I like that she's got the kind of that green tight look on her legs. So it's really nice. I just think that the sculpt looks really nice. I think all the leaves look great. And I love the attention to detail on the plants. They kind of made them a little bit more whimsical this time, which was fun. Sometimes I feel like they just try to make them scary. But this one, like you said, it has a lot of great storytelling elements to it. I'm curious as to who do you think this is going to be sculpted by?
I'm going to say Dan Ulrich.
Dan Ulrich. I'm trying to think of the portrait. Like, it's just such a good portrait. I don't know, I guess we'll find out. But hopefully she'll go up for pre-order soon. Do you think she'll be a little pricier since it's got all of the vines, or do you think it'll be in line with some of their other premium formats lately?
$650-ish.
Yeah, I'm right there with you. 600. Yeah, I could see that.
No, I don't know that it's that much going on.
Yeah, I mean, I'm thinking like a Starfire or something with got all the the smoke she's on. Like, it's not a giant base.
How much is the I was just on my Sideshow account too, and I forgot to look. How much is the new Harley, the Tweeterhead Harley? Was she $725?
I feel like it might be in that neighborhood somewhere.
Yeah, I could see this one being in the high sixes potentially.
And that the Harley had a lot of base to her.
Had a lot more base, yeah.
Yeah, a lot of like the intricate little areas. But anyway, so I'm excited that Sideshow finally have announced her. And speaking of her, we also have the flesh colored one. Again, I love this. I think that they've definitely improved it. It is tough for me to part with my green, but because again that is more true to the story. But I just feel like this is, I don't know, I just think it's beautiful. What do you guys think?
I agree.
Yep.
Yeah. I will take this one over the green, and I like a green-skinned Poison Ivy.
Me too. I like this one better.
I think that they will improve on some of the areas of paint. I think that I know that there was some issues with the green one's face, where people didn't love the lip paint that they did. But
I like this one's hair better.
Yeah, the hair's better. In my opinion, I think it pops more with her flesh color, I think.
Yep.
Totally.
And some people have pointed out that the paint is a little different on the tree and the monsters as well. So I think we'll see slight differences in how they paint it. Obviously, maybe they'll make certain areas a little bit brighter, a little bit darker, which is cool. And again, this is a variant. This is part of their 10-year anniversary. So, and I do appreciate the fact that they did change the hair. I think that was a smart move for them.
Maybe they'll release this one as a quarter scale with green skin, but with this hair.
Now that could be interesting. I could see them doing that.
Mm-hmm.
It'd be smarter, than they don't have to worry, because the green one has a little bit of a seam where the hair kind of comes down to a V.
Mm-hmm.
And so this one looks more natural. But yeah, just absolutely stunning. And again, congratulations to Julie on picking this one up.
Thank you.
Julia, do you have a spot picked out in your room already for her?
Yeah, I do. I think the other premium format will go up here on the bookshelf, and constantly moving things around. She definitely feels she's a focal point.
Yep.
And I'm someone too, I'm thinking about it. And of course I say this now, but I could see her being like my only Prime 1 piece.
Yeah.
We'll see. We'll see.
Well, she is so large that she's, absolutely a centerpiece. I remember when I was in Florida a couple years ago, I did a comic book video tour, and that was the first piece you saw when you came in the store, and it just was like, wow, this looks so good here. And so you're gonna love her. I mean, she's just absolutely incredible. And again, you could just really see the difference there in her hair and her portrait.
Yeah, I really had not looked at them or thought about them that much. They're so different.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I just again, they're this is going to be hopefully production will look this good. I'm hoping, because there is a big difference.
Mm-hmm.
All right, I threw this photo in. I thought this was really cool to see the new Dark Knight Returns, to kind of give you guys a size comparison to the Bat Bike that Dan and I own. I think it scales pretty nicely.
They look good together.
Yeah, they do.
Mm-hmm.
They look real good. Mine still has not shipped. I don't know when I'm going to get mine, but hopefully someday. I'm assuming at some point they will. These are photos in hand of the new Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 3rd scale. This is the Raphael from PCS. People have started to receive theirs, and I think this looks really great. What do you guys think?
I've heard nothing negative.
Yeah, it's looking good. Again, these are pretty sizable pieces, and Adams has said that they are going to be doing more in this line. I think it's been quite popular for them, as it should be. They're really cool.
Yeah, if I was a fan of them, it seems like there's quite a few different choices for turtles, and there's different styles or different looks.
Yep.
Yeah, definitely all different kinds of options for turtle fans.
Did Prime 1 do some?
Yes, they did. I know they did they did the Bebop and Rocksteady too. They were the cartoon versions though. I think this is more like comic book, I think.
I like these a little better.
I do too.
The Prime 1 ones looked a little scary.
Yeah. I can see
they
that.
look maybe a little more realistic looking.
Yep. Agree.
Yeah. Yeah, I like them. This was really great. And I have to tip my hat to Mr. J, the creative director at Prime 1. Absolutely fantastic. He has started to post in the groups. This is something he's never done before. He is admittedly quite, shy. And so he doesn't really interact much, but he actually reached out to me this week. I've dreamed about talking with him for the last 5 years, and this is the first time I got the chance to talk with him via Messenger, and we talked for an hour back and forth. He was awesome. He gave me a lot of insight into things that are coming. Unfortunately, I cannot talk about him right now. But he did say I could say that they are doing the Killer Croc versus Batman. It's being painted right now. So good news for anybody that's interested in that piece. But it's really nice to see them start interacting with the community a little bit more. I feel like that's been the one component missing from Prime 1. And this was an example of that. They posted this photo. So this was the Talon that Eric and I have. There was a lot of concern because the leg kind of felt hollow, and you can clearly see it isn't. And this is the rod that goes all the way in. So people that have Talon, you don't need to worry. And another great thing, I don't know if you guys saw that too, but where it keys in is metal. Did you guys see that?
Yeah.
So I thought that was really great instead of it just being polystone, which can warp over time and chip away. But I think it's pretty cool. What do you guys think about these photos? Do you think it's pretty cool that they?
It's awesome.
That
Yeah.
they,
Yeah.
You know, kind
It's
of
cool that they shared that. The War Machine that I had in my quarter scale pieces, the first one that I bought, the leg came broke, just like this picture.
wow.
And it looks very similar. It had a post in it all the way down. And the leg felt, it felt like it might be hollow, but it wasn't.
Well, and that's the thing is that, excuse me, that just because it has the steel in it doesn't mean it's not breakable.
Yeah.
But it does help.
Steel broke.
Yeah, it still broke.
It was
But
just all the crap around it.
Yeah, right. But at least it gives you some peace of mind that it hopefully won't lean over time. These are some in-hand photos from Prime One or Prime One collector of the Black Canary. This is the 3rd scale from them. I don't know if you guys have seen these pictures or not.
She looks good.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it looks just like the prototype to me.
Yeah, they look good together.
Yeah, here you can see her with Zatanna. It's amazing. I don't know if you guys have seen some reviews of the Zatanna with the stage, but it's a massive piece.
Yeah,
that stage is really big. So it's really cool. But I think she looks really great. Again, nice texture and paint applications on the shirt. Let's check the eyeballs. They look good. Again,
Is she another art germ style?
I think so, yes. I don't know if they've credited Art Germ. Do you guys, any of you guys know if this is Art Germs or if it's just in his style?
I'm not sure.
Yeah, that's hard to tell, this one.
I know some they credit him and some they don't.
Because the Wonder Woman that you did was Art Germ.
Yeah, but I don't think they credited him as Art Germs.
It was definitely his.
I know. I think that sometimes they use that as reference, and I think some of them he individually works with them. So I don't know what the difference of that is and how that all works, but
I know the Supergirl, all of these, I think would look good together.
I do too. They're all. I mean, I think
Supergirl was way prettier in person than I would have ever imagined.
Yeah,
it was.
They're all really nicely done, and they all are designed to go together 100%. I thought the lips were really good with that gloss. That looked really good to me. This is the new American Psycho quarter scale from PCS. I thought this likeness was really good.
That looks really good. Yep.
It's like, we always talk about
the best Christian Bales.
I agree. I mean, we talk about the Batman pieces all the time. I'm like, that looks great.
Yep.
I think it's one of the best ones out there. I could see some people putting that on a quarter scale Batman.
Yep.
If it would fit. There is this one pose, and there's different ways you can order them. There's like the suit version, and then there's like the bloodier version. And then I don't love this portrait as much.
Yeah.
I feel like that's a little derpy, but I do think that this one looks great.
Hey, Matt's in the chat. He's at Disney World right now.
Oh, Matt T.
Oh, that's cool.
Yep.
Oh, hashtag jealous. Well, look at that face.
That's awesome.
So we got more photos since our last show. This is the penguin from Pure Arts. Very strange concept. The other two have been cowls, whereas this one is a mask, and not a wearable mask, mind you. I don't believe, but it is a mask that is made of silicone. Obviously, Danny DeVito. This is my favorite Batman film. I've really considered it. It's just so weird. It's kind of along the lines of the Joker mask that Dan and I have. It's the same company. It's very expensive. It's very expensive for what it is. But I do like it. I think it's pretty fun.
I think maybe you could wear it, but you'd be blind.
Yeah, it's like it's got the glass eyes, so I mean, I don't think you can see through it.
Right.
I don't know. Is it too weird?
Somebody's going to build a body.
Yeah, that's the thing. Is like, yeah. Dan, is it too weird? What do you think?
It's
That's
right up there with
crazy.
really weird. Yeah, for me it is. I think that the difference is the Joker mask kind of doesn't pretend to be a head. It looks like a mask.
Yeah,
Mhm.
right.
This looks like a head on a stick.
This is a head on a stick.
Yeah. And it's kind of like
He's very
the
well
bust,
done.
somewhere between a bust and a statue. And
I agree with Jeff. Somebody's going to build a body for him. No
Yeah.
question.
yeah,
Well, I would assume somebody like Infinity Studios will do a life size, don't you think?
Like these don't look
And
like
that
they
looks
go together for me.
no.
I agree.
No.
You know,
I mean, maybe if you had Penguin in the middle, maybe. I don't know. It's just,
but he doesn't belong in the middle. You know what I
No,
mean?
it's different.
I mean, I think what would have looked cool, and they wouldn't have sold any, but I think it would have been cool just to have that stand with like a top hat tilted.
Yeah.
Just to represent him. You know, I know it would have
It would
been
make
very
more
cheap,
sense.
but it would have made more sense to have the hat, the cowl, and the Catwoman's cowl as well.
They could have worked in the monocle.
Yeah,
Mhm.
just something, you know, they could have done, and I get it. I mean, I think what they've done is amazing. I mean, let's be honest, it's an incredible looking piece, but it is odd that they would do a mask when they have the cowls. Like it doesn't fit.
Or they should offer a faceplate for the other ones or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Now I follow the makeup artist Diehl.
Oh yeah, she works with everybody in
So many
Hollywood.
pictures of on set when she did this, and it's amazing to see.
So
how-
DeVito's likeness must be really affordable.
The what?
DeVito's likeness must be really affordable.
It's got to be, because I mean, you know, Keaton's is insane. And I have some insight on that I can't share here. I'll talk to you guys off
But
camera.
it's expensive.
It's expensive, yeah, and it's kind of crazy what Keaton demands and what Nicholson demands. Again, I'm hearing in the 7 figures. And you know, it's too risky. It's just too. I mean, Pure Arts isn't going to pay that, I don't think, to have a Michael Keaton chin. You know.
Yeah.
Going back to Christian Bale, they've teased the Infinity Studios for the first time. We saw renders before, but this is the life-size Christian Bale. Obviously, they are going to do that unmasked portrait, which is cool. This is one that I would consider just because I'm getting the Ledger Joker. I think it would look great together, but I'm not sure how I would feel about unmasked. I just don't know if I'd want a masked one or not. I mean, maybe they would offer both.
Chris, this looks like it's the Dark Knight suit, right?
Yeah, it's the Dark Knight suit.
Yeah. So
yeah, it's not the Begins.
Yeah, that'd be a nice bookend. I mean, nice set of bookends. Him and
I agree. I've decided I'm not going to get the Catwoman bust. Yeah. And I don't know. I'm leaning on canceling on the Margot Robbie piece. So I think that this would probably be my two. This would be that would be it. It'd be these two busts, unless they did like a Two-Face.
Right.
And a Bane, maybe, I don't know, but we'll see. But really, it's always been about Batman and Joker. So that's, I could see me doing
make
that.
more sense.
Yeah, it would make more sense. They also had the Henry Cavill Superman. I don't know how well this one will do because it's that black suit again. I think it would be really good if it was the blue suit, but I think the likeness looks great here, and the eyes obviously light up.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know if any life-size bust has ever done that before, so that could be interesting. J&D Studios has also been teasing a new Lord of the Rings piece. I think this one will be real popular. I think, isn't this the first piece they've teased? Or maybe second. I can't remember. I know In Art has teased these.
Yeah, for 1/3 scale, I think this is the first.
Yeah. So that's going to be real popular. Isn't this the Liv Tyler character?
I believe so. Yeah.
Yeah. So
I think they actually they might have released teaser 2 this morning.
They did. They released.
They did.
They did. Yeah.
Yeah, they did. And I think it had like a kind of like a silhouette of her.
Mhm.
Yeah.
A little bit.
And so far, it looked really good.
Yeah, I think so too. Here's another Poison Ivy. Again, we're Poison Ivy heavy tonight, which is awesome. This is the variant. So people are starting to finally get this one in.
Looks really great.
It does. Julia, would you add this one? I know you already have the other one, but would you? I know green isn't your favorite. Would you add this one just because you love Poison Ivy, or are you happy with just the one you have?
You know, I was debating on it when they announced this one, and then it went low stock, and then it, you know, there were only, and I was going to, but it just, I don't know, it just doesn't compare to mine. And it's interesting, they really, you can tell how hand painted they are for some reason on these particular ones.
Yep.
Because mine, you know, she has like a slight smirk and it just makes it for me. And I've seen others, and, you know, just depending on the way she's painted, like they extended it just a little bit at the corner and she has so much personality. So yeah, I mean, this one just doesn't, I don't know, it just doesn't do it for me. I mean, she's beautiful, but again, I could never part with mine because I feel like I got so lucky with her expression.
Yeah,
Mhm.
absolutely.
Yeah.
That is cool to see that they took a different take. And again, it's you know, everybody has their own preference of which, you know, Ivy they like better. And I'm like you, I like the flesh color Ivy a little bit better. Again, that's just the one I grew up with. So
Yeah.
and here you can see them side by side for anybody that's looking to pick up the Joker. Again, they're all these are going to look amazing together. But again, I would like to see Tweeterhead do more quarter scale as well. This is a new art print from Liber Mayho and Sideshow Collectibles. This is Detective Comics 1028. Another cool dynamic print.
It's
still
the
like the
Iron
one.
Man pose.
It is the Iron Man pose. I was gonna say I still like the one I have a lot better, but I still think it's a fun piece.
I like it.
Yeah, it looks great.
Yeah.
Would you add this one, Dan? I know you have a couple of Bermejos.
No, I don't think I'll be adding this one. I'm pretty happy with what I have in my collection from him right now.
Yep.
So.
As you should be.
Yeah.
They've teased a little bit more of the He-Man life-size bust from Masters of the Universe. This is again from Tweeterhead. Great companion piece to the Skeletor, which turned out great. I have a feeling we'll see him at San Diego, don't you think, Jeff?
I have a feeling we might see him at Monsterpalooza.
Oh, maybe even sooner then. You might.
That's first weekend of June.
You might have to PM IGO and see if we can get some intel.
Yeah.
This is the new Superman. This is the Dark Knight's Metal or Death Metal from XM that they've teased. Texturing looks really great there. Look at this.
Yeah, that looks really good.
Isn't that crazy? That looks really good.
Is that the long-haired Superman?
Yes. But we haven't seen a full reveal of him yet. But it's obviously going to be a pretty dynamic looking piece with the fire. Tweeterhead's Flash has started to ship. I feel like people have been overall pretty happy with him. Some people feel like he's a little bit oversized compared to some of the original releases, the Superpowers line. But what do you guys think? I think it looks pretty good here.
Mm-hmm. He displays well with the 2.0s, but not so great with the originals.
Yeah, with the 2.0. That's a great way to put it. This one does come in the dark red and brighter red colors. So I think it's still available for order if you're interested. And I think Tweeterhead's selling them directly still, aren't they, Jeff? I think
so.
I think
At least one of them.
Yeah. If not, you can get them at Sideshow, guys.
And you know what? We need to congratulate Tweeterhead because they completed the original 7 JLA.
Oh, wow. That's true. They did Martian.
Gosh, yeah, you just don't ever see that.
Yep.
That's fantastic. Yeah, you never see that. This is the Henry Cavill. So we saw teasers before of this one, and now we got all of the photos from Queen Studios. This is the life-size Henry Cavill bust. I still think that looks phenomenal. I don't see anything wrong with that at all.
No,
I like it a lot.
Me neither.
Yeah, look at that.
I think it's the best done to date.
Yeah, for sure. Without question.
I mean, that looks like a photograph of him.
Yeah, I mean, it really does. And it's interesting. They're doing 2 different hairstyles.
They were different in the 2 movies. He changed. Yeah.
Yeah, I thought that was really interesting. So the black suit has a different hairstyle than the blue suit. and slightly different shading. I thought that was just interesting that they did that. I mean, they certainly didn't have to do that, but I thought that was pretty cool. They're that accurate.
Yeah.
This is that Wonder Woman that I was talking about. If anybody hasn't seen the review, again, I want to give a major thanks to Joe Latour. We had the honor of meeting him at New York Comic Con, all of us, and so that was really cool to be able to meet him. And I know he would like to do this more often. He wants to send me his statues, so it's pretty cool. And so from time to time, we'll get some statues here in the Batcave that I wouldn't otherwise get. But this was a fun piece, really beautiful.
I thought the paint on the costume was really awesome in your review.
Thank you. I agree. Everything was really crisp and clean. I just didn't see anything wrong with it at all. I thought it was really well done.
Now, did you feel like this hair or was polystone and not PVC?
It was 100% polystone. Yeah, it was polystone. It was heavy. So that's why I just don't know if they're going to kind of experiment with some of the hair. Again, I am fine with it being PVC, but I could see where some collectors still get upset by it. But like these front pieces, these are plastic, you know.
Well, it makes sense.
Yeah, and so I don't. People don't get mad about that. At least I don't. I can't speak for every person that collects, but you know.
I think a big chunk of, if I remember when they had the artist on Sideshow that did the Green Arrow, a big chunk of that is PVC.
Is it?
If I remember the interview right where they were talking about it.
It might be. And again, like, as long as it looks good.
It doesn't look any different than the others.
As long as it looks good, that's fine with me.
It's one of my favorites.
This right here, the stealth. Yeah.
This worries me.
So you're getting this in, right?
He's leaning.
Do you think it's just the angle of the photo, though?
I hope so. He's leaning to his left.
That's what I thought.
Yeah, he is leaning. Well,
then I wondered if they got him put in correctly.
I was going to say, like, it could be the distortion of the edge of the photo, but the Iron Man on the side looks pretty correct to me.
Yep.
Ugh, I hope it's not a problem.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to the piece, but if it's leaning, I am not going to be happy with it.
Did you get it from Todd?
Yeah.
Yeah. But he looks great, though.
He does.
You should. Didn't Art Statue Collector do a review on him?
Probably.
You should check it out and see if it's leaning on his.
I will, yeah.
It might give you some peace of mind.
Yeah, I've decided in my next life I'm going to be Art Statue Collector.
We should all be Art Statue Collector in our next life. I tell you, that guy, he is one hell of a collection, that's for sure. Great guy, by the way. We have more photos. Obviously, this has now gone up for pre-order. And I am still contemplating. I just don't know whether to get this or, you know, if by chance they will do a return suit, will I regret buying this again at whatever, $1,600?
You got to think they're going to do a returns.
I would think that they were going to do a returns. That's my favorite.
It would be $2,000 then.
That's the problem, Jeff. You're right. You're right. I have contemplated getting both of these and having them kind of back to back on a turntable.
Yeah.
Which I think that would look really neat. I think, you know, again, I was planning on maybe pre-ordering this. But I think I've come to the determination that I don't think this is going to sell out anytime real quick. And I think I might wait until I figure out what my setup looks like in the new space. If that makes sense.
Smart. Yeah.
Yep.
And again, this is like it's shocking to me because this would normally be a piece that I would, you know, pre-order day one, second one. But I just don't know. I'm still torn.
Yep.
This one went up for pre-order since our last show. We just had a teaser image, but this is the Blade third scale from PCS. I know this one still has had a lot of buzz around it.
It's because it's freaking awesome.
Yeah, it is awesome.
Crazy
but
piece.
One thing you notice though is they are not including a portrait that's not with the glasses.
Yeah, and they showed one originally,
I know, and that was, remember, because everybody thought it looked too much like Wesley Snipes.
which is probably why it's not there.
Correct.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Hmm.
I think you're exactly right. I think that's why, because now we just have the regular portrait, like the kind of the gritted teeth, and then this one with the mouth open.
I think they're both great.
Yeah, I was gonna say I haven't really heard anything bad about it. Everything seems to be,
That's cool.
yeah, it looks really great. It's dynamic. I can't remember the price point. I feel like, was it like $1,300 though? Like it was.
Yeah, it's something like that.
It was a little high.
Well, I
But
mean,
again-
you have 6 vampires on the base.
Yeah, and that's true. I mean, I think that's fair. I mean, you have a lot going on in the base, and it is a third scale from them.
And multiple weapon switch outs.
Yeah. So I feel like that could be fair. There's what you're talking about right there.
Yeah, there you go.
Different knives
Yeah.
and different.
If Prime 1 did
Board.
it would be $2,000.
Yep.
Yep.
You're
Yeah.
right.
And PCS shipping to the US is usually affordable.
Really?
Oh.
Yeah.
Interesting.
That's great. Well,
They have a warehouse in Vernon, California, about an hour from me.
Oh, wow. So let's hope that stays the case.
Yeah.
Again, this is an American company, so that's really exciting.
Yeah.
Yeah, that looks great. I love the teeth.
Mhm.
I'm tempted. I don't know where the heck I'd put it, but I'm tempted. I think it's a stellar piece.
It's really good.
That means something's got to go.
I know.
I know. But yeah, it does look great. It's very dynamic. This is the Iron Spider piece. That's also not. I don't think this one's up for pre-order yet. I don't think.
Yeah, it is.
Or is it? Okay. Again, based on a great comic book cover. I haven't heard as much about this one, like as much buzz, but I still think it looks great.
People are happy with it. I mean, they think it looks. The design of it's really cool.
I mean, it's very accurate to me. Great base, great color. There's my Joker that's coming. But I thought I had not seen these side by side like this, so I thought this photo was cool.
Mm-hmm.
It looked like they both just had their hair done.
I know. I'm really nervous about the hair. I do have a hairdresser in my family, so I have a feeling I'm going to be taking this to her. It's going to be an awkward
You may want to
conversation.
you may want to take her to him.
Yeah.
I'm like, how do I bring this up? So I have a half-size torso that I want you to do the hair.
I wish I was closer.
Oh, I know. I just need to fly you in. That's what I need
See,
to do.
I think the big key is they should stop about an hour before they did, because they do too much to it.
Yeah, it's
Yep.
too curly. It's too much. And it's like, the thing is, like, I know some collectors have complained about the hair, but it's like the thinness of his hair. Like, that's how his hair is. He was really in Dark Knight. He was really thinning bad.
Yep.
And so, like, I love that. That's the most accurate I've seen, because a lot of times they just pile on the hair, and he did not have a ton.
Nope.
And
it
you could see his scalp through
yes,
the hair.
and it certainly was not like a L'Oreal commercial.
No. It's not like Fabio.
No, it does not have all those curls. So
This
and
is his date night hair.
yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm hoping that mine turns out okay.
Julie.
Date night hair. That's gonna be a shirt. Oh, well, here we have another Heath Ledger Joker. This is from McFarlane Toys. I wanted to share these because I know we have some McFarlane collectors in the chat. So they're doing a Dark Knight series. They're doing Heath Ledger's Joker. They're doing Batman himself, and they're also doing Two-Face.
Those look good.
Yeah, I feel like he looks a little wonky here a little bit, but I still think it looks fun.
Well,
And
Two-Face
then
is pretty wonky.
he is a pretty wonky character, but I think the suit looks really cool the way they did the burning.
Yeah.
And then you have also the Scarecrow from the original film, Batman Begins, and he was in the Dark Knight a little bit, and Dark Knight Returns as well. And then you also have a Bane, and I think Bane is like a Build-A-Bane. So you buy the different pieces, and then you could build Bane.
Yeah.
But I thought it was cool they're doing all these new figures. They all look really good. Cool things for Dark Knight collectors. And then they also had Vampire Joker. I don't know what this is from. Have you guys seen this
There's
one?
a DC versus Vampires comic book series that's been going on for a while.
it looks fun, but like everybody's like, what is going on with this elbow?
Yeah, that's quite an elbow we got
Like,
there.
yeah, like I don't think elbows work quite like that.
You'd have to be living dead to get your elbow to do that.
It's like I've got an extendo elbow. But I like that his mallet looks very much like the mallet from the Superpowers when I was a kid. I like that. That's cool.
That's cool.
And they're also doing a Robin.
That could look better.
I think it's not Damien, is it? Is it Damien?
Mm-hmm. Damien from The Omen.
From The Omen. Oh my God, I was just gonna say.
Yeah, kind of. Yeah. I don't know who that's supposed to be. I mean, that's not Damien. That's Dick Grayson. Yeah, that's supposed to be Dick Grayson. Okay.
Okay.
Well, okay.
Almost
Whatever.
looks like was that Alfred C. Newman from the Mad magazine?
Yeah. He does a little bit. Yep. I got to give a shout out to this collector right here. I don't know if you guys saw the room tour, but I thought this was really creative to use paper to create a bat cave.
That's amazing that it's paper.
Yeah, it's paper.
When he
really
said
crazy.
that in the video, he said he crumpled up photo paper.
Yep.
That's a lot of photo paper.
That's a lot of photo paper and a lot of paint because he painted all of it too.
Yeah.
Which is really crazy.
Man, it photographs as a cave.
It does. You know, this is always something that I would love to do with my collection, but at the end of the day, like it's just it's too dark for me. Like I could not ever do something this dark.
Yeah.
Because I need the light. But it looks really cool.
It does look
and
cool.
The suits, the bat suits.
Yeah, the bat suits are all right here, really well done. The way he pulled the window shade down, it looked like the computer screen.
Yeah,
Well, he said he showed up. He wore one of those suits. He said he showed up for his buddy's, kid's birthday party or something.
Just really cool.
So
anyway, I just want to give a shout out to him and thank him again for doing the video for us.
Yeah,
and if you haven't seen it, it's a couple videos back, guys. Really fun video tour. Got some Hot Toys love. We got some new Ant-Man and the Wasp, and this is I think a really great likeness.
Yeah,
I think it looks like her.
Yeah, I do too. I absolutely love her when she was on Lost, which is a favorite show of mine. I loved her on that show. So it's always great to see her in anything. So we have her, and this is the actual sculpt here. Looks good. And then you also have Scott as well. Going to be rooting on my Chiefs this weekend, I'm sure. This likeness I don't think is quite as good as hers.
Yeah.
But not bad.
I saw a funny
last
quote.
one. They did have that big smile.
Oh, yeah. It looked weird, didn't it?
They got so much grief about that.
Yeah, it did look weird. This does look better than that for sure.
I saw a funny quote from him today. He said that for years his son thought that he worked in a movie theater and he never corrected him.
I saw that.
That's hilarious.
And he thought that till he was a teenager.
Wow. That's a long con. That's long.
That's a long con, right?
Yeah, it is. This I threw in some photos because the last show that we had some in-hand photos of this piece from Queen Studios, and I didn't think the photos were very great. I feel like it looks better here. This is that I can't remember what we called it. It's not like Vampire Batman, but kind of.
Yeah.
But I just thought the photos were a little bit more clear and they looked better. Speaking of looking better, this is the Sideshow premium format, and I think it looks really good here.
I just don't care for the pose.
The pose is still weird, but I'm just like I keep looking at the likeness. I'm like, that is 100% Christian Bale to me. Yeah. Like it's so good.
I even think the suit. I mean, the whole piece is, I think, really nice. Excuse me, but that pose.
Bless you. Yeah, the pose is just a little strange. Looks better there.
He kind of, I've said it before, I think, but he kind of looks like he has a dad bod.
Well, I could concur to that. What do you think of this one, Julia? Do you think this one is a little bit awkward?
It's the pose. Yeah. I can't get past the pose.
Yeah. And I don't know if it was designed to like kind of hide him more with the cape, because some people do, kind of, wrap the cape around him a little bit, but I don't know. It's just too bad because the portrait's so good.
I've never been crazy about the cape on that costume. You've got kind of this high-tech costume with a velour cape.
Yeah, it's very velvety.
It always looked kind of weird to me.
Yeah, that real soft.
Yeah, it's been hard for companies to make it look like it did in the movie. It looks too plush.
Yeah.
Whereas in the movie, it looked like a textured material, and it made sense that when current went through it, it took a form.
Yep.
But it always kind of looks like the dress Carol Burnett did in her Gone with the Wind spoof.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, and I know I've had a statue with that particular fabric before on a Batman piece, and it's a dust magnet. Dust really likes that material, which is unfortunate. This one I thought was a cool photo because this shows you how big the Bat bike space is, but it also, we've never really seen these side by side with the Prime 1 quarter scale. So I thought that was pretty interesting to see them side by side, get kind of a size comparison. This was the Batman Hush from McFarlane. This is a 12-inch statue, like $40. I know a lot of people were interested in seeing what this piece was all about, so I thought that was cool. I threw that in there. We also have the quarter scale Darth Vader that just started coming out from Iron Studios.
I saw that one at a D23.
What'd you think of it in person?
It's cool, but I don't really need Vader on a throne.
Did it look like quality, or did it look kind of plasticky?
No, I thought it looked good.
Look how big it is, though. It's big.
It is big.
Yeah, it's a big piece.
Yeah.
I want him doing something. I'm not a throne statue person, though.
I think it'd be cooler if, in Empire Strikes Back, where he's in that that oxygen dome, where it comes apart and he talks to the Emperor or whatever. Like, I feel like that would have been a cooler diorama than this.
Yep, I agree.
That's just my opinion. It does have a extra armor head. So that's interesting with the damage. So anyway, that's from Iron Studios and looks pretty accurate to me. This was a new Harley that people are starting to get in hand. This is from, is it from, I want to say Kotobukiya. Now I can't remember. I think it's Kotobukiya.
That's cute.
Yeah, it's a fun little piece.
It could be Kotobukiya. It looks like one of their bases.
Yeah. So I thought it turned out pretty nice. I think the paint application looks nice on her. Kind of fun, cute. Not too shabby. Gives you kind of an idea of her scale.
He looks great.
Yeah, that's a great Flashpoint Batman. Got some more in-hand photos. This one is from Sume Art. And I love this thing. I think it looks fantastic.
That thing really needs a revolving turntable, a mechanized turntable.
It really does. And it's a scale that I'm trying to avoid at all costs, but this one and the Joker piece are both really cool looking.
Agreed.
Love all the shattered glass elements. Look at the texture on him. I think it looks really great. Can't talk about telling a story.
Yeah.
This is Goonies. I thought this was pretty fun. I loved Goonies as a kid, and so to see this one, I don't feel like Chunk looks anything like Chunk, but
no,
I feel like Sloth. I mean, look at that. That doesn't look anything like him.
Yeah, that's bad.
That doesn't look like a real person.
Yeah, it's just so bad. But I think they did a pretty good job on him.
Yeah,
but like this doesn't look anything like the actor. And maybe they didn't get the likeness of him. Maybe I'm not sure. But anyway,
head and neck just doesn't make sense.
Yeah, it's very strange. But anyway, I thought the diorama was cool with the skeleton and the gold. Pretty cool piece. So. That's what I got.
Very cool.
That's what I got. Anything a must-have, I guess. I mean, obviously, we've already ordered the Ivy that we saw. A couple of us, anyway. I don't know. Anything else that you see that you're probably going to order or thinking about ordering?
Tempted by Blade.
Yeah. Blade, definitely for sure. How about you, Dan?
I'll be ordering that Sideshow Ivy when she goes up for sure.
Yeah.
Yep.
Julie, I'm assuming you will be ordering that one as well.
Oh, absolutely. I signed up for the, to be among the first notified. I love how they say that, among the first.
That's right. The privileged few.
It'll be interesting to see if they come out with an edition size on her. Because if they come out with some giant edition size, I'm not POing her.
Yeah.
I know. I've been thinking about that.
Yep.
Yeah.
Dan, I don't think it's going to be a high ES.
You don't?
Doesn't look like it.
I mean, if you're looking at these ones we talked about earlier, like that's shocking to me.
Yeah.
That Joker is really shocking.
Especially the Joker.
That's a good point. I didn't think about the Joker. That's true.
So if the Joker can't sell that many,
Joker's 600. Yeah.
That's gosh. I know.
Yeah.
That's Daniel Bell.
Yeah, Daniel Bell.
But it's a particular looking kind of Joker too. Mm-hmm. It's not. That's like an easy identifiable, like, ooh.
Yeah, it's more of a kind of a creepier take, I guess you could say. But anyway, it's pretty interesting.
We didn't look at it tonight, but what do you guys think of that Infinity Studio, Chris Pratt, Jurassic World quarter scale that went up on Sideshow?
So that was actually I went to go put photos because when Sideshow changed their site, with Sideshow, change your site back. It was way better before.
Yeah.
No one likes the new site. Anyway, I went to go get photos when they first. So like whenever I try to save photos for the show, I'll go to Sideshow site, and they used to be JPEGs.
Yeah.
Then they changed it to some weird format that it doesn't really work with my computer very well. And so when they went to the new site, I started looking at the photos and I clicked them and they were all back to JPEG. I'm like, this is great. It'd be so much easier to do it for the show. Well, I go back yesterday and today to get everything ready because I've got to put all these things in order, and it takes a long time to get ready for the show. And all of them are back to that bad format again. And so I couldn't save those photos, and Infinity didn't have it on their own site at all.
Right.
And so, but I thought it looked pretty good.
It's funny because it looks like Chris Pratt, but it looks like Chris Pratt with some Chris O'Donnell mixed in. It's really weird.
You can never have too much Chris. I mean, come on, let's be honest.
I kind of like it though.
Yeah, I do too.
Yeah, I do too. I think it looks really good. I didn't see the price point though, but it's a quarter scale, right?
$749.
So pretty comparable.
Or $754.
Okay. And you also get blue in that, so it's more of a diorama. So I feel like that's a pretty good price for that.
Yep.
But yeah, that's another great piece. But again, I apologize I didn't get the photos. I tried, but didn't come up with those. It's kind of a slow time right now where we're not getting a ton of reveals.
Yeah.
Again, we're like Ivy. I don't know, like why was she not part of a 12 Days of Sideshow? Like again, I just don't understand because they've had three reveals since then with Blade and Iron Spider and this Ivy.
Yeah.
I just don't get it. But anyway, I guess on a random Tuesday at like 7 a.m. is fine. Whatever. Yeah, whatever. We'll take what we can get, right?
Sure.
Anything else you guys want to talk about before we wrap up tonight?
I am off to watch Last of Us.
All right, that sounds really good. I wish you all a very, very wonderful weekend. Julie, I can't thank you enough for coming on. This was absolutely fantastic. I hope you had a good time. We would love to have you back sometime again.
I would love to come back. Thank you. It was a great time.
That's awesome. Well, again, it was really nice to kind of pick your brain and get to know you a little bit better. So it's really awesome. And again, just thank you, gentlemen, very much for being here as always. And again, just everybody continue to be good to one another out there. Be kind and just have a great weekend. Go Chiefs. Have a good weekend. Bye. Have a good one. See you in the back cave, everybody.
Yeah.
Bye, everyone.
Thanks for watching.